you smiling?
There's a speed trap ahead.
This week on the Great Loop 2020, we are buying a bus.
Sometimes you pay off those buses, but you get a finance again to buy a new one.
Right.
So you keep on a lot.
They keep on the lot for extras for backup.
Yeah, you
and
don't
stuff like
sell.
that. So this wasn't in service.
No one ever hears from us ever again. We're in the hills of Virginia.
Ding, 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 ding.
I don't think there's been a banjo here. This is highly gentrified. I think, you know, after all,
Good call on pointing out the landmarks, though, honey.
I'm working on it. Drove by really fast.
Slow your happy ass down. Like even Kermie's laughing at you.
Hermie's always laughing. He's got that face all the time.
I think GPS says 12 more miles. Is that right?
That's not it.
On our way to Ruckersville. I should have got the cute, quaint little town we went through. Wasn't thinking straight.
Maybe there'll be cute other things that we're passing along. This is the birthplace of James Madison.
I don't know if it's his birthplace, but it's where he lived.
James Madison's from here, which is not that far from Jefferson. Monticello.
Of Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson, of course.
Pay attention to the road. Pay attention.
Pay attention. There it is. That's Madison right there. Got a big place.
I don't think so.
Well,
That looked like it was built in 1974.
it's probably been remodeled many times. I saw a sign there, though. It said Madison's house.
I think maybe it's just the Madisons live there. I don't think that was it.
Well, maybe it's been in the Madison family for a long time. They remodeled it.
They remodeled it into a 1974 ranch. So this wasn't in service since 16.
I think so because that's what the if they stick. When I
This one first? I got you. Okay. So you operate the whole bus?
we have a bus.
Okay.
That's our bottom.
You bought them for extras?
No, our bottom bread is a transportation. We have many buses.
Oh, I see. So how often do you have to replace tires and stuff for your service?
I can tell all my bus.
No, it's okay. I just was wondering if you knew. And how hard is it to get it? Like if you have an issue?
All right, so we just finished up dinner, and we've been talking about how the hell are we going to do this bus? The challenge that we're having right now is we don't have a license to drive a bus. And I don't want a license to drive a bus because I don't want to take passengers. This is my bus. You can walk. I don't care what you do. I'm driving my own bus. But I can't legally drive a bus with air brakes until it becomes an RV. And we're trying to find out what kind of license is required for an RV that is considered a Class A mobile home with air brakes. And believe it or not, there's a huge array of information out there. There's 50 states with 50 different rules, and there is at least 1,000 different people that have different opinions on the whole thing that are all
42 cards and a deck of cards. Oh.
So it's really very challenging.
42.
52. It's 52
Did I say
cards.
42?
She's food drunk. Don't listen to her.
I am food drunk.
But here, what is this place called?
Milan Indian Restaurant.
Milan Indian Restaurant. Amazing food here. Absolutely stellar. If you're ever in Charlottesville, Virginia, check this place
It
out.
would be terrible.
Hey, good morning. It is Thanksgiving morning, and we are in Ruckersville, Virginia right now. We just passed the Madison County, Virginia. Here's Smokey. And the idea is that we saw the bus yesterday. We have some video that I think we've showed you that, but we are intimidated. Very intimidated. Super intimidated. Looking at the dashboard, it's not quite an airplane, but it's not too far away from it. And there's a bunch of stuff.
It doesn't have wings, so
we don't necessarily know what all those dials and buttons and switches do. And
I think for me, the biggest thing obviously is the size. But for me, it was a lot more about like the air brakes.
Yeah,
the
air brakes are definitely intimidating. There's a reason why you have to have a license for air brakes, I think. But I don't know enough to know why you need to have a license to have air brakes, because I don't know anything about air brakes. And this has air brakes. And so our feeling is last night we didn't get a lot of sleep. We slept with two dogs in a king-size bed, and neither one of us slept particularly well. And we were both, I think, were you thinking about this all night long? Because I was thinking about it all night long. Yeah, and it kept us up. So the thought process is that we're going to go get a class. We're going to find ourselves a place to teach us how to drive a bus. Not that we need the license. We don't need a license. In theory, from everything that we've read thus far, a Class A motorhome does not require a license, even if it has air brakes. Does not require it. But I don't know how the hell to do them. So. But
the issue is that the bus is not yet converted to a motorhome. In its current state, it is still considered. It is designed for passenger travel. So, in order to get it from Virginia to North Carolina or wherever it is that we need to go, we are required to have a license to drive it.
Yes, or we need to find a licensed driver to drive it for us to get it where we need to get it.
To transport it.
The other thing that we could do is we could potentially get it moved from point A to point B here in Virginia, and we could find somebody to just get it from 2 minutes down the road. There's a storage facility which we could move it to and pay $50 a month to store it there and get it fitted out, and then take the title down to North Carolina and have it titled in North Carolina as an RV, because the rules down there is you have to have 4 or 5 things added to a bus.
I want to go there, the Bavarian Chef.
That does look good, doesn't it? We're talking here, though.
Okay, sorry.
But so you have to add a sink, you have to add a bed, you have to have a
you have to have
bathroom.
3 of 5 criteria in order for it to be converted from a bus to an RV in North Carolina. All the states are different, and that's been one of our frustrations.
Yeah.
Is going through not only the DMV site, which is
a nightmare.
Okay, if you wait in a DMV line, the site is just as bad.
Yeah.
Bus. We had read a couple of more than a couple of articles. We had done our research about what to look for when buying a bus, and of course watched a million videos and read a million articles. And of course, one of the big things that we were looking at was the tires.
Yeah.
The tires are large and the tires are expensive to replace. It's not that you can just pull over on the side of the road or lift your bus up and change all your tires or rotate your tires at home. It doesn't work that way. So we do need to make sure that the tires, they're on the road and they're moving, and if one of them goes, you're in trouble. So, and on this particular bus, there are 8 tires.
And we can't really tell the age of any of these tires.
Well, 2 of them are indicated, and so one of the articles that I read was super helpful, and it told exactly how to read on the tire and print the date of manufacture of the tire.
But
so
6 of the 8 tires don't have any dates on them, or as far as we can tell, they don't have any dates on them.
Correct, 6 of the 8. Well, right, because we couldn't look at the inside tires.
Right.
So one of the concerns was that these tires were 2 of them that we could note were 10 years old, and tires of this type average 7 years, and that's what you need to be looking at. 7 years is probably their lifespan, because the tires on a bus don't necessarily, the tread doesn't go, but they dry rot and they will blow. So that was a concern, because that means that they need to be replaced. The bus had also not been in service since 2016, so it had probably been sitting for the past 3 years, which gives me a little bit of pause, which means that those tires were due to be replaced right at the time that they took it out of service.
Which is we're thinking one of the reasons why they sold it or got rid of it is because it's cheaper to just get a new bus. Well, more effective sometimes to just get a new bus than have to put $5,000 into a bunch of new tires.
All right. Well, because it's in 1988, and so they had already had other newer models in their fleet. So that was something that we had obviously looked at and we had discussed, and you know, it was one of those possibilities, especially with a 1988 bus. So all of those things we were discussing, and then this thing came up.
I don't even know where she's going.
I got so upset.
What? Oh, yeah, all right, yeah.
It was not something I had considered before. I don't know why I hadn't thought about it, but I didn't. Apparently, I'm not a huge bus traveler. But, so I was looking at the windows, and we got back to the hotel, and we're talking about the bus, yada, yada, yada. Ooh, it's exciting. Let's talk about this. Ooh, we're concerned about this, and whatever. The windows. They're all emergency egress windows only. They don't open and close. When you open them, they're open for an emergency reason.
And then they have to be put back in by somebody that knows what they're doing.
So, you know, if we are cooking in the bus, or perhaps you need to open the window in the bathroom, you can't do that because they're emergency egress windows only. So we spent about an hour and a half calling around to a bunch of parts people, MCI, bus specialists, RV specialists, to find out what kind of windows might be able to be retrofitted into this particular model bus, windows that would be able to open and close. Now, the problem with that was we were calling on the day before Thanksgiving.
Nobody's picking up the phone.
So there's many people that we couldn't talk to yesterday, and of course today is Thanksgiving. So not having operational windows for everyday use when I'm cooking and we smoke, you know, we accidentally burn the bacon, I want to be able to open a window. That's a big deal for me. I'm in an area where I don't want to run the air conditioning, or we put too much wood in the wood stove. It's really hot. I want to be able to open the windows. That is a big deal for me. Almost a deal breaker. So being able to retrofit some of the windows with a sliding window, an openable window with a screen. Not all of them. They don't all have to be replaced, but some of them. So that's one of the things that we're trying to figure out.
And that's the point too, is that, you know, some of these windows, we wanted them to be emergency egress windows. It's very nice to have an emergency exit anywhere on this bus. If there was a fire up in the front of the bus and we couldn't get off this thing, I want to kick a window out and I want to get out of there, you know? So it's not like we want to get rid of all the emergency egress windows, but we also want a couple of windows on the thing that we can open so we can add
maybe
a little
4,
fresh air.
so you get a little cross breeze, you know, 2 on each side, one forward, one aft.
I was thinking for the red of the bathroom, I think we should put a porthole in there. It's already closed off anyway. You can't see through it. It's an opaque window out. So let's
he wants a porthole.
I want portholes in there. Yeah, porthole
in the bathroom.
That would be cool. Come on.
No, it would be cool. It would be very cool. The only issue with a lot of the portholes is that they're super, super thick because of the hull of a boat.
Yeah. Well, that's if we go with like a 1922 one, but there's all kinds of
thin.
There's all kinds of different portholes out there. You know?
Yeah.
We can put a modern porthole in. I mean, it doesn't have to be an ancient.
Right. Just one that's like thin.
Yeah.
Not really a porthole, but a porthole look.
Well, the way that it opens is what really makes it a porthole, I think.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
I almost rented a house once. They put in a What is up with my speech? They put in a porthole in the front door.
Yeah.
So the front door, it was
That
a
would be
crappy,
really
shitty,
cool.
terrible house, but the front door was awesome. They had a wood
Well,
front
sometimes you got to buy a house for the front door.
Just
porthole
buy the front door.
Just buy the front door.
We're on the Bay Bridge, and I don't like bridges at all. This one is a big one, and it's going super, super slow. But I hold the opinion that you always have to have one of these, because because if you go over and you're in the water and you can't open your window or your door.
If the impact doesn't kill you, you have to be able to knock out a window.
See? Trusty hammer always stays with me when we go over the bridge. I've watched all the stories, like if you get in the water and then you're sinking and you can't open your window.
You realize you'd probably break your neck though when you went off the side over here because the impact.
Hey!
Just saying.
Shh. So, if you're in the water, what they say, and I've like watched the news reporters,
I wanna be irrational for Christmas. Only irrational will do. I don't care if I don't have a clue. All I want to do is be irrationalists.
So, if you're in the water and you, like I said, the electrical system is not working and you don't have manual windows and you can't roll your window down,
And you're still in fact conscious and breathing.
and you can't get out, you have to wait for the pressure to equalize. So that means you have to wait for the vehicle to fill up with water. You breathe up towards the roof as much as possible where the air is trapped. Then as the pressure starts to equalize, you can open your door. That's just my tidbit about going over a bridge. Perhaps not the Bay Bridge, but maybe going into a canal.
Any type of water, really.
Any water, right? So
And you can drown in a teacup.
this is a safety tip of the day.
And make sure you wait a half an hour before you go swimming after lunch.
But not breakfast.
But not breakfast.
Fuck you, Chris. Okay, so all of those are our concerns about this bus, and this is kind of our plan, and we're probably gonna, basically the gist of it is that we love the bus. There are some modifications that need to be made, and there's a lot about it that is intimidating. So we'd like to go get some more information and some more instruction about how to drive it, the systems on the bus, all of those types of things, because knowledge is power.
Yes. And money is scarce.
And money is scarce. Knowledge is power and money is scarce. Welcome to our world. Okay. For that, The Charted Life.
Yes, thank you for watching. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And
Jennifer and Captain Chris.
Jennifer and
signing
Captain
off.
Chris signing off. Love you.
Love you. Mean it.
Bye, guys.
Part of the fun of holiday travel is traffic. And we're waiting to get on the Bay Bridge.
Who said that?
I'm saying that.
Oh, we're saying that.
Part of the fun of holiday travel is traffic.
All of these happy revelers trying to make it across 2 lanes of traffic.
But in the good news department,
Christmas music is here. The puppies.
they're both sitting on the seat now. They decided they wanted to be able to. They look like they've each got their own seat. Don't go over the line, Mom. She's touching me.
We have the best kids.
They smell funny though. You smell funny.
Like Doritos. Fritos.